Welcome to it, everybody. This is the first episode of Seconds with Stars, where we interview your stars. And I am your host, Nabisa Kaya Moyo. And today I've got my dear friend, Singisa Mdungwana, who is a writer/poet. How are you, Singisa?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good too. And it's lovely that you're here on the first episode. You're gonna bring us into the
Thank
game.
you for featuring me.
Nah, it's a pleasure. And as far as I'm concerned, you are a writer. So where did your writing journey start?
I think a lot of people that know me know that I'm a very shy person and very reserved, and I find it hard to really express myself. Like, I'm a very quiet person, so that's how I started writing, I guess, like just writing my feelings and stuff like that. It was a way of self-expression, and people actually liked my writing, and then I was like, oh, and then yeah, that's how the whole thing came about of me being a writer.
Yeah. So that's rather interesting. I know a lot of people write about their emotions and stuff. Did you start as a journaler? You know, someone that writes dear diaries, you know, that type of stuff.
Typical,
yeah. Yeah, the typical, or you actually writing, you know, like prose basically.
Most definitely, I started like that. Yeah, I started writing in my diary, you know, like, dear diary, today was a very bad day. I had a fight with my mom and all of that. And then my mom actually read my diary. It was a funny story. And she was like, oh, you're actually a good writer. And I was like, really? And then that's how like I started writing. And then I went to an art school. And then I think being in an art school made me want to write more. And yeah.
So do you remember the first thing that you wrote, what your mother read? What was written in that book?
It was a diary. It's actually embarrassing. It was, you know, teenage diaries. Yeah, it was for boys and but it was like more poetic. It wasn't like a simple oh dear diary, but it was more poetic and stuff. Like, it was always about my feelings and stuff like that. I guess I've always been a poet, but I just didn't know that I was. Yeah.
So they always say that a good writer is a good writer because they read good books. So which book would you say is one that kind of, you know, fed into your art of writing?
Funny story, actually, I hate reading. I hate reading, but I love Maya Angelou, and one of the first books that I read was from her. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. So yeah, but I'm not a reading person. I know that's. Yeah, but I don't really like reading. I hate reading, actually.
So how would you say that her books or her work actually affected you?
I like the way she expresses herself. I find it really beautiful and how she uses her words. And it was so beautiful, and I thought, I can do this. Let me try. And then yeah, she's like I think she was my biggest inspiration. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And one thing that, you know, brought us here, the actual thing that brought us here was your poem, Mama. Yes, it was a very heavy poem to listen to, a very heavy poem to think about. And it's something that we could feel as the audience, that it came from your heart. What inspired that?
Okay. Truthfully, it was a personal experience, and it was something that I've been wanting to write about. I don't normally write about me. Like, sometimes I write about other people's personal experiences, and I never really tap into my own personal experiences because I don't want people to know me like that. But I felt like, let me just do this. You know, it came from a very vulnerable place, and yeah. It was a very personal experience, yeah.
Yes, and there was a great reception of that video. There was a great reception, and I think I was looking at the video, and I think it went to a good 1,000 views in almost like a day. And how did you feel about that?
I was shook. Because also it was my first, you know, as artists, I think most artists are very insecure about sharing their artistry like on a public platform, because you don't know how people are going to receive your work. Are they going to receive it the way that you want them to? Are they going to like it? Are they not going to like it? Are they going to criticize it? And all of that. So when I received such a feedback, I was like, oh wow, okay, Yeah, and I also think that I think a lot of kids like in South Africa have problems with their parents and all of that. It's just a black child thing. I don't know if I should put it like that. So I think a lot of people related to it also because I got like DMs and from my Instagram of people saying, "Oh, thank you so much for writing this. I actually feel the same way. I didn't know like there's someone out there who actually is going through like the same thing that I'm going through." And it was like, yeah. So it wasn't just for me; it was also for other people because I think there's a lot of problems with black kids and parents and
So do you think that you're taking part in some form of activism for black youth? Because a lot of black children do not feel that they have a safe space to talk about their problems, especially with their parents, because stuff is just pushed back. So do you feel like you're taking part in activism?
I think so, yeah. Like I feel like I'm a voice for people. Like how we're a sad generations with happy pictures and all of that. So I think, I think a small part of me is,
Yeah, and I'm sure you're writing something or you're up to something. What would you say that you're looking forward to taking part in?
When I do my writing, it's always I love making people feel like it's like I want people to feel like I want people to be like, wow, when they read my work or listen to me performing my work. So yes, what I'm working on, I really want it to be something that's really strong and that's gonna leave people like, damn, like she wrote that. So yeah, it's always about that for me. I want people to feel so, and that's what I'm currently working on.
Okay, yeah. And your Instagram page where you actually share your art is called She Writes Sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's quite plain that, we know what she meant, but like, where did it actually come from?
Exactly from that. I write sometimes. Literally, because, school, like being busy and all of that, and you don't want people to expect you to deliver all the time. So like, my page says it, she writes sometimes. I write sometimes, and sometimes, even if I write, like, I think I've written some stuff already, like a lot of stuff, but like sometimes, I think this is a lot of artists go through this. You never really feel confident in like sharing your work with other people. Like, I don't know, like artists are like perfectionists. They need they need to make sure that their work is on point and on standard, and it's like it takes time for them to get there. And I think that's the same thing with me. So like, I think it's been about how many months since I posted?
Many months.
Exactly, because I'm still a bit shaky with the stuff that I've written so far. So yeah, but when I'm like confident enough, then you'll see something.
I find that you just spoke facts. That is facts on facts on facts. And what I like about your work is that it evokes actual emotions in people.
Yeah.
So when you actually look back on your work, how do you feel? Do you ever criticize yourself, or is it always you're always satisfied?
I always criticize. I'm never satisfied with my work. Like even if you would tell me, wow, that was good, I'm still gonna look for something that's wrong. And I think it's not just me. I'm always referring to other artists or other writers. I think they also feel the same. I don't think you can ever be. You always feel like there's something to fix. Oh, I could have done this differently, or I could have used a different word for this, like a better word, or I could have phrased it better. So yeah, like I always find something wrong. I always criticize. I'm very strict on myself when it comes to my writing. Like I never feel like it's good enough. Yeah.
So what was the final push that allowed you to actually release work, even in the midst of such negative emotions?
I think this was a learning process. Like I'm an overthinker. Like I overthink things, and also being in a public platform, I'm a shy person. I already told you that, and I also don't like being perceived by other people. Like I just don't want people to, like I'm always thinking, what are people going to think about me? What are they going to say about me? So it was a matter of just waking up in the morning and not thinking about it and just doing it. Like don't put much thought into it, just do it. And yeah, that's how I even got to like create the Instagram page and post my work. Yeah.
And lastly, everyone has a motto in life, and what is your motto?
Okay, so a lot of people assume like that you can't do, like Nobisa can't do that, or she doesn't look like she can do it and all of that, and I feel like that drives me a lot. So if someone tells me that I can't do something, I'll do it. For that reason that you're telling me that I can't, I will do it. So that's my motto, like do it, especially when people tell you that you can't. Do it.
Very powerful words that we've got from Singisa Mdungwana there. She said, do it, even if people think that you cannot. And thank you for coming and watching this episode. I did say at the beginning that my name is Nobisa Moyo, and this was Second to Stars. See you next time.